This is part 4/5 of my Makeup 101 series where we talk about the order in which to apply our makeup and how to pick what products we want for each step. I am now on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Please go follow me on there. The handle is the same everywhere. So let's get into this. With bronzer, the first thing you want to pick for a cream is whether you want it to be a liquid form, a stick form, or a poured formula, and I will go into those. Really not a big difference in how they really perform on the face. They're basically all going to give you the same thing. It's more so of how you like to apply it. These three are examples of the different types of formulas. This is the e.l.f. one. This is their new liquid one. It kind of is more so similar to a concealer, whereas this is a full-on liquid. This is the Rare Beauty stick where you can see it is in stick form. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury one where it is a poured formula. It is a cream in a pan. There are so many options for different ones that you want. Again, in terms of contours and bronzers, they're basically all going to be very similar in performance. You really want to focus on what type of application you're looking for, whether you want it to be a complete liquid, a stick, or a poured formula, and the shade range that they have. For this video, I'm going to demonstrate using a stick on one side and the poured formula on the other. For my first side, I'm going to use these Sephora contour sticks. They have cool and warm shades. Another reason I'm picking these is because I can really demonstrate the difference between contour and bronzer here. Contour, you can see, is going to be more of a gray undertone because this is meant to mimic shadow on your face, whereas this one is more of a bronzy shade. You can see it's definitely warmer. This is supposed to mimic where your face would get tan when the sun hits you. If you want a stick form, you can take a brush and go directly off of this product, or you can swipe it on your face. I know some people worry about the formula picking up your foundation underneath, so that could be something you worry about, but these Sephora ones are super creamy. I noticed that when I apply them, they definitely do not lift up the product underneath because they are so creamy and glide right over the face. If you pick something a little more matte, it may or may not disrupt the product underneath, so you may want to just take your cream brush, whatever you're going to use to apply it, and just take it directly off the product and put it on your face, whatever works for you. This Sephora stick is shade 2, light to medium. Now I'm just going to take a dense brush. This is my Real Techniques one, and you can see I'm just patting it to blend it out. We don't want to swipe because we put this where we want it and we want it to stay where we put it. These are more strategic placed products, so you don't want to be swiping all over. If you swipe, you could shear it out too much and it's just going to be completely pointless. This is the side of my face that is bronzed with the stick, and this one is naked with nothing else. You can see it just did give a little more dimension to my face, a little more life, so my face is not just like one stark color like a blank sheet of paper. In my opinion, a liquid formula and a stick are going to be very similar in the fact that you're just going to apply them directly to your face from the product itself. Now I'm going to use my Contour-y shade of the Sephora stick. This is in the shade 01, Fair to Light. And this we are going to put a little bit under that bronzer and just in this back corner. You can see, like, if you look at this side of my face, there's nothing on it. You can see that little bit of a gray shadow where the light is hitting it from the top to make my cheekbones look more chiseled. That's just natural. So we're going to mimic that on this side to make it a little more snatched. Contour goes under your bronzer because, again, this is supposed to be a shadow under your cheekbones, and the bronzer is supposed to be like on your cheekbones, basically where the sun would hit you when you're getting tan. You want to pat to blend it out because we put that exactly where we want it. We don't want to swipe it all over the face. And there you can see that little difference between the warmth and the coolness, and it looks more like a shadow. These are my Charlotte Tilbury ones. These are cream formulas that are poured in a container, so this will definitely require a brush to go straight in to apply it to my face. This one is in fair and this one is medium. You can see this one is much cooler and this one is much more warm. Also, I know these are very expensive, but literally the pan size is my entire face. Definitely worth it. So for these ones, I take the brush and go directly in here, pick some up, and just dab it on my cheeks exactly where I want it and blend it out as I pat around. That is the bronzer. I'm going to go in a little bit with the more cool shade and just put a smidge right in this back corner here underneath. I take my foundation brush and just lightly go around the edges of everything to make sure it is super blended in. So this is the side with the poured formula and this is the stick. It doesn't really matter. It's basically going to do the same thing. It just depends how you'd like to apply it to your face. Moving on to cream blush. There are basically a million formulas of this as well too. Basically the same as cream contour and bronzer, but these have obviously way more shades because you got to cater to all different types of people that like different blush shades. There are the same options available. These are liquid. This is a stick, and I also have the Patrick Ta one. This is poured, and it's got a little plastic cover on it to protect it, as well as a powder that goes with it. So once you find like what formula you feel like you gravitate towards that you like applying on your face, you can even dabble in dual-ended things. These are the Dibs sticks. This is a matte formula and this is their more luminous shimmery finish. If you like to use a stick, maybe you can get a product like this that is a one and done. You get your contour, bronzer, and you get your blush on one stick. But with dual-ended things like this, you have to make sure that you like both ends of it. So sometimes people do complain about that, but I just wanted to show this is their shimmery version. And if you're more so into poured formulas, you can look into something like this. This is the Made by Mitchell Curve Case. This has bronzers and contours as well as creams. So this is another one and done product, and he has a bunch of different shades. I believe this is the light one. He has medium, dark, a whole bunch of like different shades depending on what you're going for. But this is another great investment, so you get a one and done product as well. Only real difference that I notice if you're looking for blushes is number one, there's a million different shades instead of just like a few to reach different skin tones. There's going to be pinks, purples, reds, beiges, like there's going to be a million different ones as well as different finishes. You can really see in this Juvia's Place blush, you can see that there is a lot of gold reflect in here. Whereas this CL blush you can see is basically more of just a flat color. And this step is really just focused on which formula application you prefer to put on your face. These steps aren't really as skin type dependent as primer, foundation, and concealer. You got to worry about if you're oily, if you're dry, if you're normal, combo, whatever. This is kind of just like, how do I want to apply this to my face and what shade do I want and what finish do I want? I'm going to put my e.l.f. on this side of my face. And I'm going to take my favorite brush for cream blush. This is the Sephora 99 brush. I love this brush. And we're just going to tap and blend it out. Now, sometimes if you feel like you may or may not go a little blush heavy, you can do this step before your concealer so that when you put your concealer on, you can kind of tone this down. But I wouldn't worry about it too much because when you set your face with your loose setting powder, it's going to tone down this layer of skin anyway. This is kind of just setting a little base underneath when we go in with our powder products. So if this is too intense right now, don't worry. Your loose powder will definitely also help to tone it down. For this side of my face, I'm going to use the brush and dip into one of these Made by Mitchell ones. I'm going to use this one here called Snatchural. Just dab the brush in it and start packing it on the face. Again, I always say that cream, bronzer, blush, and contour are optional steps because you technically don't need them because you can just go straight in with your setting powder and then follow up with your powder products of this. However, if you want something to last really, really long, I find that it helps to have the cream products underneath as another base for when your powder products wear off throughout the day. Everyone always says your blush wears off first, and I definitely noticed that. So having this layer underneath it definitely really helps to reinforce it throughout the day and make it way more long lasting. And that completes our contour, bronzer, blush step of our makeup application. Whenever I apply my products like this, I try to explain to people to think about Neapolitan ice cream. You have your contour, then you have your bronzer, and then you have your blush. And you can put highlight on top as well. So it's kind of like your chocolate, your strawberry, and your vanilla. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next part when we talk about setting powder. I don't care if you're dry, you're using it. See you in my next one. Love ya.